Hello everyone and welcome back to Jacqs. Thanks for joining me today for part 5 in my Back to Hogwarts interactive mini album 2.0. And this was part of a collaboration that I did for Country Craft Creations. Today's video is the last in the video tutorial series for this mini album. And then I will come out with one more video and it will be a final walkthrough of the entire album. So today we are going to be working on the front inside cover. I'm not going to give away the little sneaky peek, or should I? Voila! And then we're doing the back inside cover. A little bit of apothecary going on. I love it. And then I run through some of the decorating, the tags, and things like that that I've created to go in the album. So I really finish it up in today's video. I hope that you will stick around to learn how to recreate these items. The inside cover also has an optional design that is not a pop-up, and I go through that as well. Now, everything you need to create this is going to be listed in the description box. That is your friend. It will have freebies. It will have bundles. All the information you need to know to recreate this album. So please be sure to check there and pick up all the goods. I'm also an affiliate of Country Craft Creations now, and the supplies will also be listed that I used. And if you pick them up using my links, I do receive a small commission, and it would be greatly appreciated if you use those so I can continue to bring you some crafty goodness. Okay, let's just get started with this video tutorial. I'm super excited for today's pop-up feature. To create the easy double pocket, you're going to need a 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. I'm using the same color as the rest of my album base. And then you're going to need 2 pieces that are 8.5 by 2. We're going to take the larger piece and score that in half at 5.5. Let's go ahead and fold on that score line and burnish. Okay, so now we have a little flip, right? Let's open this up. We're going to be stacking them one on top of the other. So you may want to use your scoreboard for this. I'll bring mine back out. In addition to using the scoreboard, you could also use your spacers if you have those available. I'm really a little obsessed with these right now since I used them in my pop-up photo card. And if you missed that project, I'll have it linked down below for you. And I think I'll use one of these spacers so you can actually see where I'm putting things rather than use them as spacers. Since it's black on black, it's hard to tell. So we're going to take our first strip and we're going to place it at 7.5 if you're using your scoreboard, or if you're not, you're going to go 3.5 inches up from the bottom, and we're going to glue down our first strip. Now when we glue this down, we're only going to add adhesive to 2 sides. Okay, so I have my spacer right at the top of 7.5. That way I know for sure where to go. And I'm just gonna put that right on top. That made it nice and easy. And then burnish down our sides. So what you have now is like a belly band, right? That's what it looks like. But what we're going to do next is to take our piece, add our adhesive to the 2 ends. And I'm putting maybe about 1/4 of an inch of adhesive, as you can see there. And I'm going to add this to the bottom of the cardstock, right on top of my other piece. Put it on top and go down, make sure everything looks good there. So nothing should be overlapping in the back. Oh, you know what, you guys? Let me lift this back up. We need to glue down the bottom. So we're gonna glue that one on 3 sides. There we go. Easy peasy. Okay. So now what you have is a pocket here. You have a larger pocket that goes all the way down. And this is going to close with magnets, right? So then we have a nice closure there. We open up and we can put little items in there. So that's a fun little double pocket. And it also kind of mimics something that we're creating on the back inside cover, a little bit. Now, if you want to decorate the front of this, I'm going to give you the measurements, but of course I'm not going to glue mine down because I'm using these on what I'm doing. So you'll need one solid color cardstock that is 8 1/4 by 5 1/4, and that would go on top there. And then some pattern paper. I'm using this one because it mirrors what's on the right hand side of my mini album. And this is 8 by 5. And then that will go on the top here. And then you can further decorate this as you want. So I will not be showing how to do any decorating for this additional piece because I'm spending a lot of time on the other one. But to decorate this with pattern paper, you're going to want to have your piece be 8 1/4 by 1 3/4. You'll need 2 of those. You should add your decorative paper to these pieces before you layer them, and add one to the back. So back here, you would want to add your piece at 8 1/4, and I would make that maybe 2 1/4 inches, because you're going to come down 1/8 of an inch from the top. So yeah, 2 would be good. So when you go to place it down, it'll be like that. Okay. So those are the pattern pieces. And remember, the 2 that we had on the front here would actually be the same measurements for the inside. You could add another pocket up at the top. You could put 2 photo mats, which actually would be really cute to do. Let me see what size you would need. So if you picked up my photo mats, I believe they're free. Just follow the link down below. You can get the 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 photo mats and put that on top here. How cute is that? That'd be perfect. It's a perfect fit. And then you'd have your nice double pocket down here, all decorated. This is a really cute piece. Almost makes me want to do it. But I already have the Sears going, so we're going to go in that direction. Okay, so that's everything to create this easy piece. Let me show you how you would put this into the mini album since we're here, and then we'll completely switch to the other design. So I'm going to bring out my album. You're going to need one piece of solid color cardstock that measures 8 5/8 by 8. And this is going to be our base piece. We're going to lay this down to where it's about 1/8 of an inch from the edge of our spine. So right here is our spine. Hopefully you can see that. There's our spine. We're going to have it be about 1/8 of an inch away. And then that will make it about 1/4 of an inch away from the edge of the album, okay? So we can already go ahead and lay this down. I'm using craft for this, but you can use, you know, whatever color you want. You could even use a pattern piece if that's your preference. We will be putting pattern paper over this. Now our spine piece is right here at the top, about 1/4 of an inch in from the edge of the album, and that's exactly where we want to place this down. just 1/8 of an inch in from the spine. So here's the cardstock that we used for the spine. You can see that it's 1/4 of an inch down. So I put that right at the top of it. That was such a great time saver in trying to figure out where to place this. The next thing I'm going to do is add a pattern piece of cardstock here to the top, and this measures 8 by 3 3/4. So this was really just a scrap piece that I grabbed, and it actually works out perfect because when we put this down over it, it's the right length. So that was perfect. So in case I didn't say it, this piece applies to both designs as well as this piece, okay? So design 1 uses this and design 2. So I'm going to go ahead and add my adhesive to this. Now when I go to place this down, I'm going to center it from side to side. I want about slightly over 1/4 of an inch on this side and slightly over 1/4 of an inch on that side. But I am going to place this at the top of the cardstock there. I'm not going to put a border around it because I want it to line up over here. I didn't like it with the border at the top. But you can add one if you wish. This design that I'm showing you here kind of, again, mimics the inside back cover. Now, because we're going to make this into a pocket as well, I'm going to do the little tape trick and add some household tape across here. Yeah, it'll be covered. You won't be able to see my bubble. The next thing you would do is to add your magnet. You would take your little pocket piece, flip out piece, add adhesive to 3 sides, and glue that down onto the inside front cover. You want to place this at a 1/4 of an inch up, so it would be right at the bottom, right where our craft cardstock is. And you want to center it side to side. So there would be a little bit of craft showing on each side, like this, okay? It's hard to show you that without gluing it down, but that's kind of the look that you'll get, okay? Then we'll have a pocket back here. I should have probably also mentioned that you want to add your magnet underneath the solid cardstock before you put these down. I'll try to remember to put that on the screen. So then it's all magnetic. When you open this up, you know, you could have your 2 photo mats up here and then your pockets here to put more photos, okay? So that is the first design that you can do for the inside cover. Now I'm going to show you how to upload the stairs into Cricut Design Space for those that have this cutting machine. I've started out with a blank canvas on the left-hand side here in Cricut Design Space, and I'm going to click Upload in the lower left-hand corner. It brings us to our upload screen, and we're going to click Upload button. Now you can see the area where you can either drag your files here, or you can click the Browse button and find the file on your computer or whatever source you're using and locate the file and add it that way. Now I have my files open here on the right hand side, and I like to just drag and drop my files. So I'm going to select the file, drag it over, and unclick it to drop it into that box. I'm going to hit continue in the lower right hand corner of the canvas there. Here we can name, add tags, add it to a collection, and then hit upload in the lower right hand corner. It imports the image at 8 by 10, which is the correct size. Without unclicking the image, I'm going to go over here in the layers panel on the right hand side, click the little arrow or caret, and then you'll see all of the elements I used to create the stairs. Let's start with this first element here, and I'm going to click the arrow next to it, and it will bring down all of the elements I used to create that part of the stairs. What we want to do is click on this first image here, and as you can see, it also highlights it over here in the image on the canvas. What we want to do is go to the operations area at the top menu, and we're going to click the down arrow and select score. This is going to be the door under the stairs. This next image that's part of that, we want it to cut, so we're going to leave that as is, so we can close this one back up. These next blocks of images, the gray ones here, here, and here, those are decorative pieces. So if you wanted to cut them out of pattern or solid color cardstock, you could cut out these two individual layers and then layer them on to your stairs and just make it a little bit more decorative. We're not going to focus on those right now for this part of the tutorial. These are just basic straight up cut images, so there's really nothing to them. There are two pieces to these, but that's because they're layering pieces. So actually I'm going to hide those. And I do that by clicking the little eyeball, I guess that's what that is, next to the name of the image. For our last area, we're going to see a bunch of lines that are going vertical and horizontal. We want to click on all of the horizontal lines. So you click once on one and then hold down your Control or your Command key and select all of the other horizontal lines. Once you click on a line after you've got so many, Cricut does this funny thing where you have to continue to scroll back down to where you were, which is a little annoying. So if anybody knows a workaround for that, please share. See how it just clicks it back down. Okay. So now I've clicked all of my horizontal lines. I'm going to go up to Operation again at the top, click the down arrow, and select Score. Now you will see that all of those lines are now score lines. Now we want to select the entire area and go down to the lower right hand corner and click on Attach. You'll see here in the Layers panel we have a new grouping, and if we click the arrow you see that it now grouped all of the other elements that we had together. So we could rename this if we double click it. And now we're ready to cut. So click on Make. It will ask you to save your project for the first time. So click Save. Click where you want to save it and name it. Click on Continue. The next thing you want to do is select your material. Typically I use a medium cardstock or a heavy cardstock. When I'm using artisan cardstock, I do tend to use the heavy cardstock just so that it has a nice clean cut. So that's what I'm going to do here. You will start out using a scoring wheel, and it will tell you when it's time to change to a cutting blade, fine point blade. Now just a little note, I think I've mentioned this before in my videos, that if you don't have a double scoring wheel, it's quite all right. Cricut does not know the difference between a single and double scoring wheel. Okay, so go ahead and cut out your piece. Now that we have that cut, I'm going to hide the stairs and I'm going to upload my railing, doing the same method that we just did. For this one, there is nothing special that you have to do. I do notice that the size is off by just 1 point because it should be 8 instead of 7.993. So you can change that if you like, just to make it exact. And then this should be 4857. Okay, those are the measurements that I use. So you can leave it what it imports it or change it because it's so slight it's probably not going to even be noticeable. So then this is just ready to cut. You don't have to do anything else special to it. Okay, so I have my stairs all cut out, and you could probably see there a little bit of the scoring. What I like to do is actually take this and do the scoring again, because Cricut does not do a deep score into the cardstock, and this is kind of thick, so I want to go over those score lines again. So what I do is just take the score line itself, line it up with one of the grooves in my scoreboard, or you can use your ruler, and then just use my tool to go over the lines. These lines are already there and have been pre-scored. I just find that this helps when folding. So if you are doing this by hand, this is what you would do as well. Okay, guess I could do the door as well. And I could probably even turn this over and score the opposite direction as well. Once you have the additional scoring done, I do like to fold back on my score lines. I'm going to fold back on this one first because that's the way you're supposed to do it. And then I'm going to fold forward, because this is going to fold down like this. For the door, I'm going to do the same thing, just so that it's nice and pliable to go both ways if needed. Okay. And now we can start on our stairs. For the top of the stairs, I found it's easy to turn this over, and we're going to kind of fold down and pinch on each of the score lines. It's hard for me to explain how to do this, so it's just a little bit of trial and error, I think. The main thing you want to do is bring the paper down and over where the score line is. So here's my score line, and I'm going to kind of fold it and give it a pinch. There's no way to eliminate some of the creasing you might get into your cardstock. I mean, you can't do it without, you know, getting some type of interference in the actual cardstock. I don't know. So if you do it and you get a crease or a fold mark, maybe that's a better way to describe it. See these like little shadows? There's no way to get around that unless you are super, super slow and take it easy with it, which, you know, I do not. Okay, so these will all fold down. For the bottom, we want to, here's an example. We're folding down on the top, and on the bottom ones, we kind of want to push down this direction, but we want this facing us. It's easy to fold the top ones down when we're looking at the back side, but for the bottom row, we want to look at it and push back this way, okay? Now this one might be a little easier because we've already done one side of the stairs. Best I can say is to have one hand underneath the cardstock, holding it and helping to push the stairs up. You want to push the stair up while you work with your fingers to pinch that score line. Now maybe this is a better way to do it. After you get some of these creased, if you hold it like this, it kind of makes it a little bit easier to do the rest of the stairs until we get up here. And then we just got to go a little bit slower. There we go. And as you can see, there's our stair. Okay. Now I'm going to fold down and I'm going to burnish. And I'm going to burnish this side as well. That looks pretty good. So when we fold over, you can see that the lines do not match up. If I flip this over, you can see it there. If you trim this off, you will trim into the stairs. So don't do that. That's all I can say. Don't do that. When we add it to our outside cardstock, you don't really notice it as much because when you open it, it looks fine. So if you see this, do not fret. Just keep going. It's going to look fabulous. The next thing you may want to do is the railing for the stairs. And I made it rather large so that depending on whether or not you use this for another project, you'll have plenty of length in the railings here. But for this project, we're going to go at a length at 1 1/4 down from the top of the railing. We're going to have extra on these little, what do they call the individual ones? I don't know. And especially down here. But I have a piece that you can cut out in decorative paper, and it's going to cover the railing. So we can either cut it down or we could just glue it down and maybe trim then, or glue it down and put our piece over it. I'm going to glue mine down and we'll see how it goes. But I have a piece that you can cut and put over this, and it could be like wallpaper, yeah? So I think that's what we'll do. I'm going to use my ruler and scoring tool to make a mark on the railing so that I know when I go to place this down on the stairs where to place it. I'm going to go to the top here and mark it at 1 1/4. I don't know if I want to do 1 1/4 or 1 3. Let's do 1 3/8. So then what I would do with that mark is put it at the top of that score line. And if we fold this up, it's hard to show you guys this, then it would look like something like that. And I think I like that. I think that'll work. So 1 3/8, I guess. 1 1/2 would have been right there. Yeah, 1 3/8 it is. So I'm going to go along each one, I think, and make a little score line tick mark, I guess, at 1 3/8. Now you may not have to do every single one. You could skip one, then do the next one. But you want to align the ruler with the edge of the railing, and then a tick mark with your scoring tool at 1 3/8. And again, this is just going to be a marker for us. Yeah, I'm just going to do ever so often because they should line up after that. Yeah. Yep, you don't need to do every single one. So I'm going to go down a few. And I definitely want to do this last one because I think we're going to cut some of that off. Yeah, look how far that one goes. For this last piece, I am going to trim it off because I know it is really, really long. So I hope you all understand what I'm doing. I hope this makes sense. Just to reiterate, what I'm doing is I've left these individual railings long so that you could have a preference of how you want them to look. I want them to be like a normal staircase where the railing is lower than the wall behind it. I don't want it to be the same height as this piece behind me. That just doesn't look right. So that you could use this on multiple projects, I left them long for you. That was intentional. Because when I started, I was going to have them be up higher. As you can see here, I did this one where it was higher, but that's when I noticed that it's at the top of this piece back here, and that part I didn't like. I wanted it to be lower. So that's when I decided to lower mine. Okay, I'm going to do it and go for the best. I'll just do, let's just glue one down. I may even need to trim this off because of the way that I'm doing this. I want this one to be flush, and then the rest can just fall where they will. That's how I'm doing it. Because I've shrunk this railing from what it originally was, it should be about in the middle of each of the stairs. Actually, it's looking quite good, if I do say so myself. So before I glue down anymore, I see where I could really do some trimming. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that by hand, just at any random length. I just don't want it to get in the way of my door. And like I said, I have another piece that's going to go over the railing to hide this part. It's like giving a haircut to your stairs. I'm going to cut this one just a little bit shorter. That was fun. Okay, now I'm going to do it. I am going to do it. The only thing we're gluing is the area down here where it touches the stairs. Not quite sure how I want to do this. Okay, make sure your bottom piece is flat. So I think I'm going to put something on top of that to help. And I'm going to do the gluing one at a time. You can lift them up, put a little glue on the back of it, or you could put it down on this piece there if you're good at lining it up. Now also remember that you don't want to glue, all this up here. You want to just glue to where it is at the score line. So from the score line down should be glue. Maybe I should check this before I continue. Yeah, it's working. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is going to be great. Okay. All right. It's exciting. And everything is flat. Make sure everything is flat as you go along. And then there's our last one. Let's give it a go, folks. And there we have it. Oh my goodness. Love it, love it, love it. So fun. Okay, now that we have this railing on, we're ready to decorate the front of our stairs. Down here at the bottom, you're going to need a piece of pattern paper. I'm using this from the Fall Breeze collection. It's a beautiful collection. Actually, look at what I'm covering up. This is so gorgeous. But it doesn't go with our theme. So this measures 8 by 3 5/8, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, and we're going to put this down here at the bottom. I am going to fully cover this cardstock. For the back of the stairs, I cut out this image and I used this pattern paper from Dream of Home, and this is from Country Craft Creations as well. Another gorgeous collection. I love mixing these collections in this album. But it had the perfect little, you know, like paisley type print. And I thought that would be awesome for the stairs. We have just a hint of floral here. Perfect, right? You don't want it to go over girly or anything in our Back to Hogwarts album. So the front of the stairway, I cut out this from the same paper. Now, when you cut out this bottom piece, it will cut out the door. So it was like this, and then it cut that out. I would take and cut this piece off and then trim a little bit on 2 sides, one on the long, one on the short. And when you do that, you will have a decorative piece that can go on the door. This is the only place where I'm cutting the pattern paper slightly smaller than the base cardstock. And that's just because it's the door and I want it to function without any issues. So it's just slightly smaller. Can barely tell. And then these other ones cover the cardstock. So I'm just going to glue these down now. This is a really great design to do, especially if you have a cutting machine. And of course, you know, my files do include patterns, is what I call them, but they're really templates. And you can use that to cut out your own pattern papers or cardstock and do the same thing that we're doing. So don't think that my bundles are just for those with cutting machines. Okay, I'm going to line this up. Why is this so hard? This is probably the way to go. Yeah, that's the way to do it, folks. Because then the rest of this just falls right into place. So line up the one corner and then lay it down. This is so exciting. I think I'll put my door on first. I thought about doing a wooden door. I thought about making it just the same color as it is, just to make it a little bit different, you know. But in the movies, I think this is really all just like a white color. So I just decided to go with the pattern. I'll leave the inside like that, I think. I mean, I could cut this one off, but that's the back. Actually, that would go. Maybe I'll do that. Kind of gives you that Hogwarts look. So this is how I did that one. I just put it in. I cut it off of here first, and then I started cutting it down. And I really didn't cut off that much. And you especially want to do that on the inside because you definitely don't want it to stop it from closing and staying closed. Now I do have a cut file for this, but since you're already going to have that piece cut out, when we go to cut out, you know, the front part, why waste it? So I found that to be not necessary, in my opinion. There, that's cute. Okay, let's get this on there. Oh my gosh, I'm all the way over there. You want to go up to the score line when you put that down. Don't go over. You know, kind of keep those level. It should match up with the stairs. Oh, very good. All right. You don't know what it took me to create this, but I had to have stairs in this album. I belabored over this, of course, as you can tell, because it took me so long to bring it to you. But I think it will be totally worth it, and it will be fun to include this in other projects too, I think. Like, who wouldn't want a Christmas stairway? So adorable. Oh my gosh, so cute. All right, now. Okay, here we go. Again, this should go up to the score line, but don't go over it because you want it to be able to fold. Okay, and you can always check it. Maybe hold it up. There we go. Now, that's all the decorating I'm going to do for this right now. Just a note, do not use bulky things on the door. I thought about putting a little doorknob on here, but if you do, when we go to close this, it's just going to make it bulky, and you really don't want that. And actually, this stays shut well on its own, so I'm not sure you need to do anything there. So, I like it. And what you can use this for, if you're asking, you can put, you know, someone's photo back here. Like here, I have a yellow piece of paper. But you could glue someone's photo, and then when they open it up, you know, they would see the photo there. If you don't want them to see all the way into your little cupboard there. Or you could put your photo down here on the bottom, and then when they open the door, they would be able to see it here. You know, use your imagination. You're going to need an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. We're going to score that at the center at 5.5. We're going to fold and burnish. Now we're going to add some pattern pieces to the center part of our cardstock. You're going to need one piece that is 7 7/8 by 1 5/8, and a second piece That is 7 7/8 by 3. Now these measurements are a little different than you will see that we used for the stairs, but we want them to be tucked under the stairs. We don't want them to stick out, so that's why they might be slightly short. So let's go ahead and glue our piece down. And I'm going to go in about 1/4 of an inch on each side. I'm going right up to, you know, there's our score line. I'm going right up to it. Do not go over or your page will not close. And it's actually going to be a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch on each side. I always like to make sure I didn't, you know, go over the score line, so that's good. Then we're going to take our second piece and we're going to line this up right before the score line as well on the other side, but don't go over the score line. And what you'll have, if you cut your papers properly, your lines will match up if you're using this particular paper, which is great. Okay, I'm going to line my second piece up here, right before the score line. And all my diagonal lines match. Get glue down in there, just use your scoring tool to remove it. So the reason we are adding these two pieces down is to make the background for when we add our stairs. We have this fun door, and what you'll be able to do is see inside, and so we'll have nice pattern paper back there. You can make this your house colors if you like, or decorate it differently altogether. It's purely up to you. It's just a really fun way to use this. Now, just a couple notes when we lay down our stairs onto our base cardstock. We want to come in from the edge about 1/4 of an inch on both sides. We are not going to be coming down 1/4 of an inch. If you did that, it doesn't allow you to fold over flat and be able to lay it down all the way. You would only be able to fold it down flat and then open it up like this. You wouldn't be able to lay it flat like that. I want to be able to lay it flat. So I found out where the placement should be so that you can do that. If you remember in my prototype, I can lay this completely flat. But like I said, if you want it to just be one that flips up like this, and then you close it, put yours at the 1/4 of an inch down from the edge. But I want mine to be able to pop up and lay flat if I wanted to. So for that, we're going to go down about 1/2 an inch. It's just ever so slightly not 1/2 an inch. So I have a little mark here. And if you see, it's like just ever so slightly less than 1/2 an inch. I hope you can see that here, right here. And it's not even 1/16 of an inch. So you may want to just add a little adhesive to the top, and I would use wet glue. Try it out first and then glue everything down until you get it to where you want it to be. But I've kind of got this figured out. So I made my little tick mark right at the top. I'm going to place this down. And then this will all lay down. We'll glue the entire back side of this down. We're gonna glue the entire back side of this down. This is the free moving, no glue area, okay? So when we pop this up, it will go like this and it will lay flat. Oh my gosh, I need to mark those spots. Is that laying flat? It's so bunchy right there. Okay, so let me get my glue on here. Okay, my adhesive is on there. Let's see how I did here. I'm gonna move that down just a hair. This is the tricky part. So I'm holding this as if I've glued this all the way down. I'm putting this up and over. I guess I'm just gonna have to try it. So I'm gonna put just a little tack there. You guys don't know what I've gone through to try and make this work for you. All right, you can see I've tried over and over again to get this to work. Okay, I'm gonna glue this end down and hope for the best. Okay, so once you got that, I would go over your score line really good and burnish this. And there we have it. As I mentioned, I just want to tell you one more time, it is slightly under the 1/2 inch, okay? Just ever so slightly. And then down here, this one looks like it's at a 1/2 inch, but I think it should be slightly under too. I think that might be why mine is got a little bit of a tighter fit. That is our page. This one is a little tricky when you go to put it down. Just remember, do about 1/4 inch on your sides and come down about a 1/2 inch. You know, like I said, it was slightly less than that at the top. You want to glue the top down first and then glue the bottom, because what you want to do is when you glue this down first, you want to take and fold this over. And then where this lands, that's where you then glue completely down, okay? I hope that makes sense. I'm sorry, it's hard for me to tell you and do it at the same time because this one, you know, I'm really trying to make sure I get everything right. So I hope those tips help. 1/4 inch, about a 1/2 down, start at the top, then glue the bottom after you fold it over. I would just do one little glue spot and then open it up and lay it flat. As long as you can still lay it flat, then I'd glue it down. And then you can fold over and it still be flat. If it feels a little bubblish, just burnish this right here. But if you have like a big bubble, like before I was getting it, it was not even like folding over all the way. It was like getting stopped by my stairs. Stop immediately, you've done something wrong. So you can't start from the bottom. That's what I learned. You cannot glue the bottom down first and then do the top. It just doesn't work. I don't know what it is about the design. My design is good. The gluing, you have to do the top first and then the bottom, okay? Anyways, this is it. I love it. And when we open our door, we can see inside. I hope you can see that. We have the little letter there, his little firebolt. I love it. This is so fun. I love that it can stand up on its own, you know, basically. But I love that we can still open it all the way. That's what I wanted, because if you have kids, they're not going to stop here. They're going to want to go ahead and flatten this puppy out because that's just how they are. So I love that you can do the stairs, you know. Yeah, I mean, you could even put like a little person on here and then they could be like going up the stairs. I don't know. There's so many things you could do with this. Lots of fun. I'm not going to do any further decorating here yet because I haven't really gotten to that point in the album. So this is all I have for this part. Let's go ahead and add the pattern papers to the front here and add it into the book. Now, this is where I can add my magnet to the front somewhere here. And I also thought I want to kind of add the magnet down here on the more of the right-hand side. So it's not going to be in the middle. I want it to be where I'm kind of past the stairs. If you see here, if we fold this up, if we put our magnet here in the middle, it's going to kind of run into the stairs. And I don't want it to get bent or anything like that. So I'm going to kind of come down in this direction. So I think that should work. A little bit further than I wanted. There. I think that's good. And then we have our two pieces. These are the same pieces that I used in the first design. If you did not watch that part of the video, I'll give you the measurements real quick. 8 1/4 by 5 1/4, and this should be 8 by 5. Ooh, oh no. I just got glue all over my sweater. Okay, this will have an 1/8 of an inch border. And then we can glue that on here. This is a fluffy little bunny. And you will have an 1/8 of an inch border on this piece. This is the first time I've used the larger magnets. I thought that would be the best thing to do with the stairs because it is a bulky, you know, mechanism. See, look how bulky it gets in there. So you want to have a very strong magnet. And these are the basic gray magnets, but this is the larger one. Oh, I took the thing off, so I can't even tell you. Oh, well, let's see. It's the 5/8 inch wide magnet. Okay, let me get my album. Now, I hope you did watch the first design because in that we did place down these pieces that you're going to need as well. These were 8 5/8 by 8 for the solid color cardstock. I used craft, and then I used this scrap piece of pattern paper, which was 8 by 3 3/4. I glued that on top and centered it side to side. Added some household tape here just so that you could tuck in without any issue. Now we're going to take this piece, and I kind of explained this in the first design too, so sorry if it's repetitious, but I don't know if you've watched everything. When we go to glue this down, we're going to make a pocket out of it. We're going to glue on the 3 sides and place this down after I put my magnet. And we're going to then center it side to side again. There will be like a slight border on each side, kind of like that, about 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little bit less. Okay, so I'm gonna put my magnet there. I'm going to add some glue so I know where to put it. And then kind of map out where I'm putting this. Again, we're gonna go right to the edge where this craft cardstock ends because we want this 1/4 of an inch spacing here. I'm gonna open this up actually. I think that'll be easier. So see how I'm spacing this at the end of the craft, and then I'm spacing it in the center side to side. And actually that's perfect. I wish I already had my glue on there, but I don't because I was just doing the magnet part. Oh, and look, it's stuck. How awesome is that? Now we could add adhesive up to this point right before our magnet, so then our pocket only goes that deep. And you know what? I think I'm gonna do that because then we won't have something here but nothing over here. You know, I think that'll just be better, if you get what I'm saying. Because when you tuck something in, you'll run into it here, but if you're over here, you won't, which people will be like, why is it sticking here and not here? So I think we'll add our adhesive all the way up to that. So for me, it is, let's see, I could go 1 inch. I might go 1 1/4 or 1 1/8. Yeah, 1 1/8 would be good. And the magnet itself is about 3/8 inches in from the edge here, 3/8 inches there. I don't know if that helps you or not. It's about at 5. If I go from the edge of the craft cardstock in, my big magnet is at 5 right here. Does that help? I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to measure this now. About 1 1/8. I'm just going to make a little mark. And then I'll know where to add my adhesive up to. And I'll do about 1/4 of an inch on the sides. I think I might open this up again to put it down. That seems pretty easy that way. Whoops. Because then you can center it a little bit better. Go all the way down to the bottom and then center that side to side. Make sure you go all the way to the back to burnish that as well. And there we have it. Awesomeness. Oh, I forgot we put the magnets in there. I love it. How fun is that? So fun. So that is our inside cover. Look how pretty this layout looks now. I love it. I love that the blue here is capturing the blue from here. Loving, loving, loving. We're going to work on the back inside cover. For that, you're going to need 1 piece of 8x8 pattern paper. I'm using this one from the Adventures in Magic collection. I haven't used it yet. And then you're also going to need 2 strips of any additional pattern paper, colored cardstock, specialty paper, whatever you want to use. And these measure 3/8 by 8. We're going to put one on each side of the 8x8. So this will all get glued down together. Something like that. And what we're going to create is kind of like a little apothecary kind of feel to this one, as you see all the bottles and everything. So what I've done is included this little printable, and these are like medicine cabinet drawers. I just love these type of drawers. I just think they're fun. This piece here measures 4.5 by 6 3/4. This will be included for those that have purchased or are going to purchase the cut file and pattern bundle, you know, the whole bundle. This will be included in that. And if you don't want to do the drawers, that's why I'm giving you the measurements so you know exactly the size that I'm using to create this, because we're creating kind of a pull up drawer so that you can actually put a photo or whatever you want back here. So you're going to need a piece of cardstock to go along with this. I'm using the black artisan cardstock. This piece measures 5.5 by 7.5. And we need to do some scoring for this. So I'm going to set this aside. With the short side across the top, we're going to score at 1/2 inch. We're going to rotate this to the right. We're going to score at 3/4 inch. Rotate it to the right again and score at 1/2 inch. So now that we've done all the scoring, I forgot to mention we want to do a little tick mark up here at the top. So this tick mark is at 2 3/4. So just a little mark right there. You're going to need a little punch. It doesn't matter what size. We're just going to cut out a little notch out of this. Oh, you know what? I did not consider pattern paper for the back, so I'd have to deal with that later. Anyways, I'm just going to go in and just punch out a little notch. That's all. Now let's fold and burnish on all of our score lines. Now that we've done that, we have 2 little blocks here in the corner and 2 little blocks here. Hope you can see that. But we're going to cut those out. So go to that first score line, cut all the way up to the second score line going across horizontally. Then we turn it to the right and we're going to cut on the second score line up to the first score line going across. And actually, if you wanted to, you could do just a little slight angle there, just cutting out just a little piece. Let's do the same on the other side. At the score line, cut up to the second score line and turn it to the left and cut on the second score line. Oh, I forgot. Do that little slight angle there and cut out the corner. There we go. Actually, we could probably do just a very slight angle cut at the top. Just ever so slight. There. Okay. Now what we're going to do is bring in our drawers again. Going to need a cutting mat, a ruler, and a knife blade. And we're going to slice into our drawers. We're going to leave the sides intact, but open this up so we can tuck little things down in there. As you can see on the image, there's a nice definition there of a line on each of these. So that's where I'm going to cut. Now, I'm not doing any measuring. I'm leaving about 1/4 inch from the edge of the paper to where I start making my cut. So 1/4 inch in, slicing down, leaving about 1/4 inch on this side as well. Okay, so now we have a nice cut there. We're going to repeat that on the next one up. And then on the third one. If you want, you could do the same here, but I elected not to do that because I want to be able to put large tags in here, and I don't want that to be an open one. I don't know, it's just what I wanted to do. Now I printed this out on 65-pound weight cardstock. Country Craft Creations does carry that now. And then what I recommend doing is taking some black ink and inking where you made the cuts, so you don't just see the white cardstock. Okay, now what we want to do is add our drawers onto our cardstock. We're going to add this on to the sides where the hinges are. Now the bottom hinge is going to go underneath our page, and this will allow us to then be able to lift this up off the page. So we're going to need a set of magnets for this as well. We're going to kind of open this up and flatten it out. I think it'll be easier this way. Okay, we're just going to add our adhesive here to the 1/2-inch hinge. We're going to bring over our drawer, and we're going to line it up to the score line, but don't go over. The top of your drawers should line up with the top of our cardstock, and it should line up with, if we fold down our hinge, these two should line up as well. So if they're not lining up, you just need to realign them. Now I must say, on the back side, I did put some black ink here so that when we close this, it's not a bright white. Okay, I'm going to fold that over and burnish this way as well. Now for this side, we might need to adhere the long edge as well as the short edge. So we're going to add adhesive down here and to the hinge, and then fold this down and over it like that. So then we end up with a nice little pocket in here, 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 and here. Let's start down here by just adding a line of glue, and then to our 1/2-inch hinge. I'm going to kind of hold this down and fold this over. It should all line up at this point. Try and get it as flat as you can. Okay, so our drawers are ready. So the hinge down at the bottom should be going toward the back side. So if you have it going toward the front, you just need to flip it back. Let's bring in the album and go ahead and add these pieces. I got glue everywhere. I'm going to kind of use this page as my guide, as well as our piece that we already have in here. I think this is where I wanted it. And I was going to put this, and then put this one here. And I'm a little bit closer than I wanted to be. So here is the score line. I'm about 1/8 of an inch here away from that score line, and then I laid down my extra piece. So we'll have this, our pattern paper, and then our other piece, and then you'll have about 1/4 of an inch here. This one's super easy, right? Just add adhesive and put it down. Oh, hold on, it's not that easy. I forgot we want to add our drawers. We want to add our drawers. So what I'm going to do, since I already have some adhesive there, I'll go ahead and add some to the hinge. I'm going to take my piece. I'm going to tuck this right down in where the score line is. Try and get it as even as I can. Let's see how good I did here. Not too shabby at all. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold this down over the back side of our pattern paper. So when we flip this over, we have our drawers now attached to our page. Okay? Now we can add adhesive and glue the whole page down. Okay, I'm going to take this and line it up right next to the piece we just put down. All the way. Trying to get it as close as possible. Oh, shoot. Okay, guys, don't do that yet. I forgot magnets again. I always forget the magnets. I know you guys probably hate that. I need someone to just like text me when we're doing this to say, hey, put the magnet down. All right. So on the back of our pocket here, I'm just gonna put this down anywhere. Oh, I don't know how this is gonna work. I'm just gonna take my hand and try and locate the other side. Oh, I should have taken the tape off. Oh my gosh, you guys. All right, so I'm just gonna take my magnet and kind of open hand it down underneath here to locate the other magnet. It kind of snaps right to it. Yay. And I'm gonna re-glue everything. Oh my goodness. Okay, now we're gonna glue on our next piece here on the side. Okay, so we have our page done. We have a lift up drawer piece where we will be able to put in some ephemera here and there. I even have a little small piece. What I also did, which I thought would be fun, was cut out some words from the paper. Let's see. So this one I cut out on a scrap piece right here. It says slugs, Mara something, and juice. And I thought that would be fun. And then we could add it to our drawer and label it. I did some inking around it. I just thought that would be fun. Put labels on our drawers, right? And then this other one I have, it says fresh ginger. And that's on the paper as well. Where did I, yeah, right down here, fresh ginger. Thought that might be fun to add. The only thing is you do get that little blue corner from the bottle there. But you could find some labels and put there. I was actually gonna make you labels at this point. I have not done that. But I was thinking that would be a fun thing to do. I don't know if I'm going to add this one or not. So I am going to leave that one there because I think that's fun. But now you can add larger tags, shorter tags. I like having this here and giving you a variety in this little cabinet. To decorate the back side of my magnetic pocket, I actually had another one of these printed out, so I'm just going to go ahead and use it and put it here on the back side. But this time, you know, make sure you have it in the right orientation. You don't want it to go like this. You want it to still look right in the right orientation. Yeah, I think that'll be kind of cute. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. Let's see. I think I'll just make one pocket and not have two different pockets. Just do here. And go ahead and ink as well. You know, remember, you can use those printables as many times as you want. That's the joy of having printables. You can just use them over and over again. And these drawers will go with all kinds of things, you know, Sherlock Holmes themes, detective themes, vintage, all kinds. You can cut them apart and then just have, you know, individual drawers. Lots of things you could do with it. Now, of course, we have the notch here. So I'm going to put this down where I think it's going to go. Right up to that score line there. I'm going to hold it in place. Get my pencil here. Open this up and kind of just mark where the notch is. As long as I get it fairly close, I think we'll be all right. Now, I just remembered that because I'm putting this before the score line, I need to probably trim off some of the bottom of this drawer. So I'm going to trim some off, and then the rest I can do by scissors. So I took off, I don't know, what is that, 1/16 or so. Go ahead and ink this in case it's going to work the way it is. Now when I go to glue this down, oh no. Oh no. Oh no, come on. I got myself stuck on there. Well, I'm definitely going to have to put a label there. Hello. Oh my gosh. Okay, anyways, you know what? I need to put like household tape over that area. Yeah, not like this. We want to cover it. Because we're making that, since we're making this a pocket, we need that to be smooth in and out. So just put household tape over your magnet and that should solve the problem. I'm going to go ahead and do this. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Not bad at all. Could have gone down just a little bit further. We want our pocket to be down here, so we're going to glue this down on 3 sides. And this up here we can glue all the way down. Okay, bring this up to the score line. Don't go over it. Now, whether you use the drawers or not, you could use pattern paper here if you wanted to. I still think the idea of having a little pocket back here is a good one. If I did it right, yeah. There we go. I'll have to find something to put in there. And there we go. We have our inside back cover all done. A nice little pull up pocket. Now that we have the album completely done, I thought we would go over making page inserts for each of the pages. So what I've done is gone through and mapped out the layouts that I want to use. So I'm going to just walk through them one at a time with you, and we'll just make them along the way. To make the page inserts, you're going to need 4 pieces of cardstock that measure 7 3/4 by 7 3/4. What I've done is use this We Are Memory Makers or We Are Makers punch. It has the corner rounder punch. I use the 4mm. I believe Country Craft Creations carries these still. That's where I got mine. So I use the 4mm to round all of my corners. This is the first time I'm doing that in this album, and I kind of like it. The next thing you'll need is a piece of cardstock that measures 3 by 4 1/4. And on this one, I rounded 2 of the corners, and then I left 2 just squared. You'll need 1 piece of pattern paper. I'm using this beautiful sheet, and this is 7 1/2 by 7 1/2. You're going to need a cutting mat and a cutting tool. And what I'm going to do is make a slit right here at the top of this arc. Let's see, was I going to do it here or up there? Because the idea is you'll also need to fussy cut out one of the birds, Phoenix, and we're going to use that at the top, and this is going to slip down in the page. Now the way I plan to do it is that you only see like a little bit of it. So let's see. Oh yeah, I was going to trim the rest of that off. That's okay. Okay, this is making sense now. So these rounded pieces go down at the bottom. I kind of forgot what I was doing. It's taken me a couple days to figure out all the different layouts I want to use. So yeah, okay. So I'm going to go up here at the top, and I'm going to try and do this freehand. We'll see how good I am. Probably not very good. So I'm going basically to the edge there. I think what I'll do is have this down here, because then I'll be able to tell how far across I need to go. And then I'm just going to follow that kind of dark shadow. What's really hard for me is because the light is shining. Maybe I can turn this just a little bit. There, now it's not so bright on the paper. So I went a little bit beyond on each side. You know, not the best cut, but it's there. It'll work, right? And then I'm going to take and ink this up a bit just to knock back that white cardstock. Okay, now I'm going to slip this down in here. And I probably want it about 1/4 of an inch from the edge of our paper. And what I had planned to do was then take my pencil and just kind of trace the cut line that I just made. And then I was going to cut out around that. Okay, so I guess I can turn this back this direction now, so we have a little more light. So it's just following the curve. It's just a little different than we normally do. See, and I want it to be like that. And then we're gonna have Fox. Oh, sorry, it's the name of the character. Well, is he a character? I don't know, I guess. And then we'll have him. I don't know why I put craft on him when I'm using black. Maybe to go in the background. I don't know. Don't know what I was thinking there. But I guess I'm just going to give this a go. Put a little glue there. So then now you can actually tuck something in there if you wanted to. Go ahead and glue these two pieces together. So we're going to glue everything down at the top, and then on the bottom you could glue everything around where our cut is, but not actually in the area. So I'm just going to do a little bit down here. So this will have 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. Okay, this should be dry. Let's give it a go. So it's up higher than I thought it would be, but you know what? I'm okay with it. I'm just going to leave it. It still serves the purpose of what I wanted it to do. And then, like I said, you could tuck under there and on the back. Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking it would go further down. It's just not going to happen like that. So, yeah, it'll work. Okay, let's turn that around. On the back side, now I did use my photo mats in this project. I'll have a link for them down in the description box for you in case I haven't said that already. I'm using a 3x4 photo mat here. And what I did was I went back through and used all my scraps. So I used my scraps first, and then I pulled out, you know, full sheets of pattern paper. That way I was utilizing all of my materials that I had. So if some of these have odd measurements, that might be why, because I didn't really, you know, pay too much attention to what the measurements were, I don't think. This will be a nice scrap buster as well, making these page inserts. So this measures 5.5 by 4 1/4. And again, I just had this as part of a scrap. So I'm going to put that here. To go along with my rounded corners, I think I am going to go ahead and round that, just so that it looks good there. And I'm going to put this down here. And then I thought I was originally was going to put this down like that and then another color piece here, but I decided to go in this direction and then put this down here. And I like that much better. So this one's getting pieced together. So let's go ahead and glue this one down. So if I'm showing you a piece that you don't have left over, you can cut it out the way it looks, or just use another piece that you have as a scrap. It doesn't have to match mine exactly. That's what's nice about making these page inserts. You really get a chance to use your scraps, and you can make any kind of configuration that you want for these page insert layouts. For the 3x4 photo mat, I'm just going to use my removable glue, because then they can just lift this up, use it as a template, and then put their photo down. I'm going to cut this down to 4 1/4. And put that up here, again rounding the corner. And I think I'm gonna ink the edges here. And so down here, I think I'm going to need a piece that is 3 3/8, or you could do 3 1/4, then it would probably match this over here a little bit better. Three 1/4 by 3. And see, here's just one of the scraps that I had. Now I could have put a solid colored cardstock underneath all this, but I don't mind the black popping up. Okay, so that's one page insert done. That's cute. Even though it's not as far down as I wanted it, it's still cute, but I realized that I needed more area to hold the phoenix on there. Okay, one done. Okay, we're gonna need another base page insert, which was 7 3/4 by 7 3/4, and you're going to need one pattern paper. I'm not sure which way this goes. That is 7 1/2 by 7 1/2. So we can actually go ahead and glue this down. Now for this, I'm using one of the ephemera pieces. I did use some black cardstock on the back side, black artisan cardstock, to give it a little bit of a border. I used my scan and cut to do that. I'm using 3 photo mats that are 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. So if you're not using my photo mats, just use a white or solid colored cardstock in place of that. And these are 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. 3 of those, and 2 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. Now, if you're using cardstock, I would just go ahead and use regular adhesive to glue them down. But since I am using the photo mats, I'm just going to be using the restickable adhesive. And you know what? I can't remember if I was doing 1/8 of a border around these or 1/4 of a border. Let me see here. It's a little bit bigger than 1/8 of a border, but that'll work. And as you see, I don't put that adhesive all over the mat. I just usually put it right in the middle so that it comes off easy, but also stays on. Okay, so there's your layout. And then I was going to take this piece and glue it down the center of it. And with this, I'm going to use real adhesive. Well, you know what I mean. Forever sticking adhesive. And just put that where I think the middle is. That way you can still tuck things underneath it, but have a nice decorative element in the middle. Now what I'm really doing here is just giving you different ways of creating layouts on the page inserts. Now we're going to work on the back side. You're going to need one pattern paper. I'm using the chest paper. You're going to need 2 3x3 photo mats and 2 journal cards. Now these are the ones from the 8x8 collection, and they measure 2 and about 2 5/8, maybe a little bit more. Now the first option that you can do is completely glue down your decorative paper to our base page insert. Take your 3x3 photo mats and glue them on diagonal from each other, however you want them to look. Now with this chessboard, so on the edge we have, half squares, but in the center we have full squares. So it's almost as if it has its own border. So I have them to go by. So if you want the easy method, just glue your photo mats right on top like this. And what I was going to do with these is cut a slit in the paper here and here, and then we'll tuck these in the little pockets. It's just a nice interactive layout. However, if you want to do option 2, what I was going to do was actually cut into the paper here as well and make these little flips here and here. So they would flip open, and we would have our 3x3 photo mat, underneath the door. So when you flip it open, you'd see the photo mat. So I'm doing option 2, but like I said, option 1, just glue your photo mats on in a staggered formation, and then cut a slit in your paper, above wherever you put those. Now I'm going up about 2 1/8. It's actually a little bit more. It all depends on how you cut your paper, really. So that just gives you an idea. And I'll be cutting in it maybe 3/4 to an inch on this side here from the edge. So about 3/4 inch in or less, half an inch, maybe a half inch, and 2 1/8 inches up. Okay, that gives you a nice little reference anyways. So I'm going to remove all this and do option 2. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is cut across here, down 2 squares and over 2 squares. I'm going to cut a line across these 4 squares, and I'm going to cut across here, down and over. So then this one will open this way, this one will open this way, and then I'm going to cut here between these 4 squares. Okay, so I'm just going to do it all again at one time. I'm going to move the lighting again. So I'm just going to follow the paper. So now I have one door. Don't fold this over yet. I'm going to make a score line right there. So I guess I could do that with my ruler. Since on here, right? I'm just going to use my scoreboard. Ooh, this is scary. Okay. So then see, when you open that up, we have our 3x3 inside. Like, how fun is that going to be? And if these just pop open like that, I don't care. It's going to be in a, you know, a pocket for most of its life and come out peeking once in a while. I'm going to turn this and do the other side. I think I'll come in 1/4 of an inch here and 1/4 of an inch here. Again, just trying to give you some reference. Yep, that works. Well, I'll just ink everything at the end. Might as well cut this one while I'm here. Very good. And then we can cut this one. Now, when I go to cut this out, it will then, no, okay, you know, it's going to come over into this area that we cut out already, but it's okay. I think I'll fold that way. I guess that's all I was trying to say, is it's going to go, we could start it right here where we cut before. Yep. That one was a little bit wonky. Okay. You know, I'm not measuring these or anything. I'm just going by the squares that are there and wherever my knife lands. So it's all good. There. And let's do our, so again, I'm going to go right here where the end of my 4 blocks are. As you can see, I did 4 blocks here, 4 blocks here. You know, that's kind of what I was working with. And okay. And there's that. Great. Now I am going to ink the edges. You know, that will help with any that aren't straight. I'm going to bring in my page insert, make sure you have it going in the right direction. Now when we glue this down, you're going to have to really pay attention. Let me move the light again so you can get a little more. All right. I'm going to glue all the way around. I'm going to glue this all the way down at the top and then 3 sides. Do not glue. I'm going to glue this all the way across and then down on 3 sides. And then this stays unglued. Okay? Now when I start messing up, make sure you tell me. Sometimes you have it all mapped out in your head, but then when you start doing it, something goes wrong. Let's see. Okay, yeah, that's my cut. I almost did it there. Did you see me? I almost did that. It's because we start thinking of everything else that we're going to do, you know? We don't focus on the now. So you know what? We do need to go down the side here, though. So make sure you do that. We have our little flippy doos. I guess I didn't put enough glue down under here. Okay. And I chose the 3x3 photo mat so that there would be just like a little bit of a black border around it. So that's the page layout. If you want, you can further embellish this by adding ephemera to it or whatever you like. I think this is cute. Oh, you can even put photos here and here. I didn't even think about that. But I love it. I love that there's interaction on the page. Okay, so that's done. Okay, we're going to pull out another base page for our insert. Same size as the others. You all know that now. We've done 2 of them together, and I gave you the measurements in the beginning. Then you're going to need a solid piece of cardstock. I'm using Craft 7.5 by 7.5. This is going to get glued down all the way, I believe. And then I wanted to try something a little different. So I'm going to use this paper, and I'm going to cut this in half at 4. So this is 8 by 8, and I'm cutting it at 4. Now, the next thing I wanted to do was cut it at a diagonal. I wanted to kind of make like stacked pockets, but diagonal stacked pockets. So if you take your page, turn it vertical. I'm going to take the top left and the bottom right, and I'm going to cut diagonally. You guys, I don't even know if this is going to work. I haven't tested out what I'm thinking. We'll just see. I think I might need my bigger cutter for this. I don't know. I'm not getting a, yeah, I might need my bigger cutter. Now, I'm not going to glue anything down yet in case, you know, it doesn't work. But the idea was to, I want one with the pattern, which I actually forgot to cut this down. Then I was going to take the other piece. Wait, is this working or not? I think I'm going to have to take the bottom one. Wait a minute. I don't think this is going to work the way I wanted it to work. No, I don't think so. I wanted to show the pattern on one, and the other one I wanted to show the stripes. Like I could cut this one. Wait, hold on. I mean, I could do this way. That was what my original thought was, right here. So then your pocket here, pocket there. But that you get, you know, the back side and the front all in one seamless look there. It's almost camouflage that there is a pocket here, which is really kind of cool. And I think the best thing to do would be to glue these where I want them to line up, you know, like the lines, because then I can cut it down to the size that I need and my lines will still be looking good. I'm going to glue this one on 3 sides. Well, I guess only 2 sides, you guys. There's only... Oh my goodness. So down and down. And then line these up. we're making it a pocket. So we only glue it. Now we glue this one 3 sides. So if you want, you could add a little border here across the top. Just remember how far over you want it to go. And then we'll have a nice little pocket there and there. And let's go ahead and glue this whole piece down. Okay, so that's that side. I forgot to pull photo mats, but I'll add those later to put in there. You could even add a decorative strip up here or even down here at the bottom. Okay, let's turn this over. You're going to need another solid color cardstock, 7.5 by 7.5. Let's just go ahead and glue that down. And you'll need a pattern piece that measures 3 by 7.25. I did round 2 of my corners. And this is more of a decorative strip than a pocket. You could add another pattern piece on here and make it a pocket that way if you want. I was just going to leave it as is. You could even add some more ephemera on here, make a little collage, whatever you like. The next thing you're going to need are 2 4 by 3 photo mats. I'm going to put one up here at the top and one down here at the bottom. And in the center here, I was going to put this cute little border. That's so cute. So I'm going to cut this down to 4. If you wanted to mat that onto something, you could, but that's why I put the base color down so that I didn't have to. I'm just going to put it down as is. But if you have another layering piece that you'd like to add with that, you know, I think that would be good too. And technically we could put some of that down here, but we'll see. So that's that layout. That's all done. Okay, we're working on our last page insert, and I'm gonna have this one mimic the back a little bit. So you'll need one piece of cardstock that's 7.5 by 4. That will be the back of a pocket piece at the top. You'll need another piece of pattern paper that's 7.5 by 4 1/4. That's going to get layered on top. And as you can see, I rounded the corner down at the bottom and on the top of this piece. Then you're going to need a piece of black cardstock. I'm using artisan cardstock, 1/4 of an inch by 7.5. And I'm going to put that across the top like that. Okay, just going to glue everything down. This last page insert is really easy for the layouts, but these just add so much more room to add photos, so it's great to put these in there. And you could just put in a blank page insert, but I don't like to do that. I like putting layouts on them, giving ideas to the recipient. I was almost thinking about doing that, but I like the other side better. And then I have a 4 by 6 photo mat, and then I actually already had this cut out, so I thought, why not add it? This is a 4 by 6 cardstock, And then I use the Dress My Craft punch on it. It's the slotted corner punch to get these in there, which is really nice. I like using that as well. So here's 2 little mats that we can put in there, and that's ready to go. Okay, on the back side, this one's easy too. 7.5, right? Yes. 7.5 by 7.5. Let's go ahead and glue this down. Oh, I think I just glued the wrong side down, but it's too late. I actually wanted the other side up. Oh my goodness. It's all good. It's all good. It was the side with all the, little bottles, potion bottles on it. Okay. Well, it's too late, right? So for this, I'm going to add a 4x6 photo mat. Yeah, because see, I had it all matted out and the little bottles kind of sat right on top of this. Oh, wheel. Now we got to do something different. And then 3 photo mats that are 3 1/4 by 2 1/4. And I was going to add them like this. That was the idea. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I did that. So I always put the top and bottom on first, and then I put the middle one, because then I can center it between the 2 pieces. So out of the ephemera, I cut out this sentiment. It does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live. I'll just add that there, since I forgot what I was doing. But if you use the other side, which is the potions, the little potion books and bottles kind of sit like right here, and it's, at the top of the photo, and it looked really cute. So if you wanted to do that, you could. I'm just going to do that. Make it nice and simple. So that's our last page insert. Now we can put them all in the album. Now I wanted to have Dumbledore at the front of the album, since he's like the 3rd page in. Plus I love the idea of the car, and the colors. I think this will all go right here. When you put this in, just be careful, to push down on Fox there, so he goes in real easy. But we have a nice, look at that, nice layout. And here's our next page. This can really go either way. I kind of like the idea of putting it in this way. And then again, make sure you hold this shut when you're putting it in. And it should pull out okay. Now I will have to put some photo mats here. I'm just going to go ahead and put this one in. Let's see, maybe I'll do it this way, since that goes better with it. So I'll put this side in like that. And then the last one, since I messed this one up, doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna put it like this, I think. Well, that looks pretty like that. See how this side looks. Yep, that looks great. Now, there is one more piece that I wanted to go over with you, and that was the journal cards. At the time, I didn't have them when I made this page. So I did add my H there, and then I added a 3x4 photo mat on the back side there. On the inside, I did want to go ahead and do the rest of this with you. So I have the rest of my journal cards, and I'm just going to, oh my gosh, I put Hufflepuff out here. What was I thinking? I was thinking H for Harry. Now that's messed up. I should reprint that so I could put the right one out here. But look how nice it looks with that. It looks great right there. And this doesn't, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. I don't think that looks good there. Like this would look good there. I guess I could mix them up. Okay, let's wait to do that. Let's open this up. We're going to work on the inside here and finish this section. So I figured this out a while ago, so I'm got to figure out what I was going to do. But anyways, on the back sides of these flips, I put 3x4 photo mats. So you'll need 4 of those for that. Okay, so this piece of pattern paper measures 6 1/4 by 6 3/4. And that's going under here, if I recall correctly. And then on this side, I'm going to make a side pocket, I think. I don't know, I did this a while ago. Yeah, like that. I think I was going to do it like that. And not this, because then it doesn't seem to blend. It blends better like this. And then I cut out a strip to go here. So the solid cardstock measures 4 by 6 3/4. The strip measures 1/4 of an inch by 6 3/4. And then this pattern paper measures 2 3/4 by 6 3/4. Okay. Oh, see, that would have been on there. Now to put this down, I'm kind of lining it up with the pattern piece down here. It's a nice marker. So that's everything to construct the album. I did make a few photo mats. I don't know if you want those or not. I am going to do a final flip through, but I don't plan to give any measurements in that particular video. I just wanted it to be a straight up walk through the entire project. So, like, you know, I added some ephemera pieces and some little photo mats in some places, 3 1/4 by 2 1/4. Here is a photo mat that I created. I use craft cardstock that is 4.5 by 6.5, and then I put the pattern paper on it, which is 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, and that fits perfectly behind here. Here I used 3 by 3 photo mats, and then I created black mats underneath that are 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. And I think that's it. Let's see here, I did create some little tags. This is 3 by 4. I just added a little border strip at the top. And this one is a short one, even though you could put a longer one in here. And this short one is 3 by 3 1/4. And then I just fussy cut this out, glued it right here at the top so you could put something under there. And then I could tuck over the pocket because I just thought it was cute. And then I just fussy cut some bottles, put them in our open drawers here, added the journal cards. This photo mat is 3 1/4 by 4. I just cut out 2 tabs, one for the front, one for the back, and then on the back I added pattern paper, which is 3 by 3 3/4. So it could look like that. I was strategic when I cut out my tabs so that you could get some of the potions and the books and stuff. Super cute. I have it this way, so let's see. I don't know, it works either way. I love my baby bottles that I cut out. Well, not baby bottles, but you know, teeny tiny bottles. So I think that is everything for this video. I may embellish a little more, add maybe some photo mats or whatever, but that is the conclusion of constructing this album. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad it's done. I love how it turned out. Nice and fluffy. I hope you all have enjoyed it. I've gotten some really great feedback and I do appreciate it. I love it when you let me know, if you like the project, if you're having trouble with it, if you need help. I'm always here to help you, okay? Thanks, everyone. All the links and everything will be down in the description box below. Thanks so much, everyone, and I'll see you next time for the next project. Woohoo!